Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of the In the Black Quant Edge VTF here at T3 Live with this week's market wrap up, and we got the jobless claims number and DOJI day. Boo. You can see gaps up right back into the middle. In the middle of this formation, we got to try and test the highs or the lows, and we're nowhere near it. So short week coming, long weekend, that's good. I did a webinar last night, and so hopefully you can catch that on our website or on my Twitter at RobinTheBlack. Had a lot of fun showing people exactly what it is that I do, and to help you understand a little bit of a few things that I'm talking about, and I'll go through a few of those today. I also make a longer video on the weekends, and I post that on my Twitter as well as Smith in the Black, all one word, on YouTube, so you can check that out. For right now, right DOJI in the middle, and so we popped up, and here, just stuck in this range, so gap and sit right in the middle, that's what gets you your DOJI. But you'll hear me talk about the term reversal strategy, the rev strat, and I tweet about a lot of that out. And so we got that today across the board in the broader averages. And so you can see this inside bar here goes down to the lower lows, then comes back up and hammers back inside the inside bar to set up the reversal strategy. So anybody who got short down in here or here or here, there's where the stops are, right there, and right there. 1, 2, 3, gone. And so when I say a simultaneous break, you're going to see that in the QQQ. You're going to see that in the small cappers. You can see that in the diamonds, all of them. And so you've seen the some of you have seen the pictures of all the screens I have, and why I have so many screens is I can see a lot of these different relationships. I can also see all of these setting up at the same time. But more importantly here, to look at the discernible strength and weakness when that occurs, is I want to look for things that were too strong to go down. So when these things start to rev strat, anything that stays inside certainly has a higher probability of going up, and that was the FAS. So FAS here comes down, doesn't take it out. Now, not a big move, obviously. We're dealing with it today, but that's a much higher level of probability because it was too strong to take that out in the relationship we're looking at. Speaking of FAS, we got inside month and up. Now it's exhausted, and remember we talked about it down here. So how are we going to get out of this this series of lower highs? Now we went inside month. That's how we're going to do it, inside month and up, to see if we can challenge any of this stuff. We're going to be looking for follow through all month. We're also looking at like the XLE, and one of these energies is going to get out of here. You can see this monthly's stuck in a range. XOP, OIH. How are we going to get out of this stuff? And so going forward, that's one sector we're certainly going to keep an eye on. We also want to look at the transports, because the transports, once again, inside month here. And the question is whether we saw our final low off the inside here and then stop them all out, bring them back up, and now try and take a test at some of these highs, because we're nowhere near the highs in the transports. And if we want to get some Dow theory going, this is your next leg, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. We're also keeping an eye on interest rates, decisions, and stuff like that. And so we got the FAS and the KRE and all that certain stuff coming up. But now we got the TLT bonds going inside month. So we're going to keep an eye on this equilibrium in the bonds. Either side of that certainly going to get my attention going forward. If we go to the gold, so gold starts the month here in a 3-month range. A little bit lower highs here, but we want to see how does this hold. And if we go to the miners, you're going to see the nugget doing this on Z weekly. See the higher high, the lower low, the higher high, the lower low, and now the hammer. Stops everybody out of here. Now the question is it going to be a successful hammer and come back up in the triangle, or peak and start expanding? So certainly an interesting thing to keep an eye on next week. And next week is a short week, and the good thing about that is that we have a higher probability of forming inside weeks because we have less time. And then as we get closer to any rate decisions and stuff like that, Fed meetings, that gives us more equilibriums to watch for the break. So short week coming up. If we take a look in the NASDAQ, the QQQ here in that weekly, that same type of deal. The S&P's doing just doji, doing nothing. And if you look in there with semiconductors, still doing the chugga walking up. And you'll see this NXPI going inside week. So just a little food for thought there, because the IBB still struggling here, trying to go inside week here. And how do we get out of here? Is it going to drop back into this range, triangle back through, or is it going to try and hold and take another shot up? Because you've got stuff like Regeneron right back in the middle of it, still having problems like their GILD, really having some issues here, going back toward the lows. And then you got BIIB, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks inside this bar. And so you want to be here. You can see this, trying to use this triangle as support because horizontal doesn't Horizontal lines aren't true because people don't keep their stops horizontally. They move them incrementally over time, and that's why you're going to see stuff like that. But more importantly here is that when you look back on time frames, you want to see if you're trading something that's still inside. And much like that TLT, you're going to get killed. It's a doji. It's consolidating. Until it can break that or break that, all this stuff you can see is a real chop shop. And so now you got an inside week, outside week to try and take an attempt at that, but right now nowhere near it. So if you take a look at something like an AVGO today, after the opening 60, because there's just an equilibrium right into the middle. And so unless on this initial break it starts taking another run at that or that, you're nowhere near it, and you can expect to get chopped up. So always want to be aware if you're trading something that's still an inside month, still an inside week, or still an inside day, still in the opening range, that's where you're likely to get chopped up because by definition it is not trending, it is consolidating. But the one that is trending, my buddy, VXX goes to new all-time lows. Oh, yeah. Once again, the biggest puker in the world continues a puking. And if you haven't watched my video on YouTube, Smith in the Black, all one word, and then go after a secret weapon, the video I made 3 years ago, and every time it makes new lows, I'm vindicated. All right, so just a few more things. We got a couple inside weeks, and we can keep an eye on some movers to see if we can get them going again. The ACIA goes inside week. You got TWLO inside week. But for the most part, we got a nice long weekend. I think we should go out there and enjoy it, don't you? All right, I'm Rob Smith in the Black Quant Edge VTF here at T3 Live with this week's market wrap-up.